Hello and welcome back to my podcast. Thank you for being here. Please consider liking and sharing and subscribing if you're enjoying my podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about hypnosis, but don't go away because I need to myth bust and to try and persuade you that it's nothing like those shows that you might see on TV, that stage show hypnosis. So I'm wanting to bust the myths on hypnosis because I am also a hypnotherapist and I'm very passionate about this, which is why I offer free tasters to those people who book hypnotherapy packages with me. No, not hypnotherapy packages, nutritional therapy packages. Sorry. So let me tell you a little bit about what hypnosis is, and let me tell you a little bit about what hypnosis is not. So, first of all, hypnosis is a natural brain wave state that we go in and out of naturally through the course of a day. It's actually not really agreed upon, the definition of hypnosis, but generally speaking, it's like a focused attention. So imagine that you're really heavily absorbed in something. It could be like a task, TV program, a book you're reading, or I like to think about for those people who drive, when you've driven a familiar route home and you've got home and you're thinking, oh, I don't remember part of that journey, and you know that you were safe, you're conscious, you were awake, but you can't remember it, and that's because it's very familiar, and also because you're so absorbed, you didn't remember all of it afterwards. But actually, of course, you were there, you were safe, and you were conscious. It's a little bit like that. So what else is it? It's a tool. It's a tool used in therapy. So it's not a therapy in its own right. It's a tool that other clinicians will use as part of their overarching therapy. So I'm a cognitive behavioral hypnotherapist. So I might use cognitive behavioral techniques as well. It's part of the overarching therapy. But the hypnosis part, which makes it stand out and makes it what it is. That part is used by many different types of therapists. So it might be a psychologist, psychotherapist, a psychiatrist. It could be a counselor, other types of therapists. They might just use it as a tool in their therapy clinics. So it's something that we do that is a collaborative tool. So it isn't somebody doing something to you. And I think some people might find that reassuring and some people might find that disappointing. So it might be disappointing to those people that a lot of people, they come to me for hypnosis because they're absolutely fed up. They've tried absolutely everything and they just want somebody to do something to them to make it better. And it is not quite like that. It isn't magic. We can't just say, right, you relax and close your eyes and then I'll make everything better. There is an element of being a collaboration. And although it doesn't involve a lot, you do have your eyes closed and you try and relax, but you do need to be collaborative in terms of you need to be focusing your attention. You need to be on board, actually. You need to be going along with what we say. We need to be have faith in what you're doing and have faith in yourself in hypnosis, because hypnosis is a little bit like a skill that you can train. And yes, it's true, some people are more susceptible to hypnosis and some people are less susceptible to hypnosis. There is kind of varying degrees of that, but generally speaking, it's something that you can practice and you can get good at. So it's not actually me doing something to you. It's more like I'm guiding you in doing something to yourself. And there's a famous quote that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis because it involves you hypnotizing yourself in a way. And I'll talk to you about what I mean by that in a minute. So what it is then, it is collaborative. You have to be on board with it. You have to have positive expectations of the experience. It also really helps if you have a good relationship with your therapist. And actually, this helps across all types of therapy. Success of your therapy outcomes actually is partly influenced by how well you get on with your therapist, your trust in them, your belief in them, and your just natural rapport with them. So that's part of the picture as well. What it isn't is it's not me doing something to you where you don't have any control. It's not mind control. So although we talk about the power of the mind, it is your power over your mind. It is not anyone else's power over anyone else's mind. And we can't make you do things that you don't want to do. Of course, we wouldn't want to do that because you're in a therapeutic setting. So you're one to one in a setting where we're talking We'll talk about your goals. We'll talk about the suggestions that you want to use, and there's trust there. And of course, even when you're in that situation, even when you're under hypnosis or in hypnosis, if you heard something that you didn't agree with, you just simply wouldn't take on that suggestion. And in fact, if it was something that you really didn't like, it would rouse you to come out of hypnosis, and you might say, "Hey, what are you talking about?" Um, but I think the problem is we see stage hypnosis where people are made to do all sorts of silly things, but there's quite a lot of difference there. Some of that is to do with people. First of all, they're very hypnotizable people because they do little tests beforehand, and also they have the pressure of having to perform for an audience. So it's a completely different situation. So hypnosis is very much collaborative. We talk about what your goals are. We talk about the suggestions that we're going to be using. I always explain everything beforehand for my clients, so they know. I talk them through the relaxation at the beginning. I talk them through the metaphors I'm going to be using, and also the suggestions. And the suggestions are based around your goals, what you're trying to achieve. And so they are a little bit like statements that you are hoping to achieve. So it might look like your stools are normal, you make a good bowel movement every day, you no longer experience pain or discomfort, or it might be you're sleeping well through the night and you wake up refreshed. So suggestions are almost like positive statements that you're hoping to achieve, and we make this together. So partly my suggestions that I make for my clients are based on what you've told me on the form, what you told me on the phone, and also what you told me in the session. So we might even make some of them collaborative using your own words as well. So it is a collaborative thing. It does involve, you being on board with it, but it isn't mind control. It isn't something that is done to you. It's not magic. And people have different, of course, on that note of it being not magic, people have different experiences of what works for them. And of course, no therapy works 100% for everybody. But being on board with it, being happy to go along with it really does help the outcomes. And it's one of those therapies, it's a short-term therapy. So unlike talk therapy, which you might see a therapist for years or certainly months, this is intended as a short-term therapy. So in the research for gut-directed hypnotherapy, sessions are, for optimal results, sessions are between 6 and 12 weeks, or 6 and 12 sessions. But everybody's different, and some people get results before that. But it's not intended as a long-term thing. What else do you need to know? What's on my list of things to do? So suggestions then. So when it comes to the hypnosis part, you use this sort of focused attention to get the brain into this sort of theta state where you're more open to suggestions, and your body and mind can be more influenced by the suggestions that we're making. And that's why it's important for the suggestions to be collaborative. So the suggestions are really what makes hypnosis, what sets it apart, because we're making these suggestions during this this mind state that you're in. So the suggestions are the thing that you're going to achieve. So as I say, then it's not a quick fix. It's not something that's done to you. It's not a mind control. Also, you can't get stuck in hypnosis. So you can't be stuck into that state, whatever state that is. And actually, for some people, the state doesn't feel that different. For some people, they do go quite almost quite sleepy and sort of heavily into it. And they might take a little bit longer to come out the other side. So it might take longer to rouse them and get them back to being alert again. But you can't be stuck in that state. For other people, they might actually feel not that different. They might just feel like they've got their eyes closed and they're slightly relaxed, and that's okay. And you can still think your thoughts. You can still have conscious. You can still scratch your nose or speak. So it's not like you're under a spell or anything like that. So I really hope that has demystified some of the elements of hypnosis for you. It's a really helpful tool. It's really lovely as well. It's so nice for relaxation. A lot of my clients will say, "Oh, that was so relaxing." And although that might not have been the purpose of why they're there, quite often for a lot of people, it really is part of part of the therapy, because a lot of people are stuck in that fight or flight. So it can be really helpful as a form of relaxation. And of course, hypnosis is self-hypnosis. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So it's actually, I'm teaching you a skill that you can use on yourself. It's not, again, it's not making you dependent on someone else. It's something that you can learn to do yourself very simply by just using suggestions when you're in a kind of relaxed state, really, and you can come up with your own suggestions. So the idea is that you're, able to use this yourself as a tool. And also, it is a trainable skill. You can find yourself, responding to things, and it gives you confidence of what you can achieve, with hypnosis. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope you have had some of the myths busted, and it might seem something that you might be interested in. It's not really mysterious, it's not magic, but it can be really helpful. So feel free to ask me some questions. I'll do another video. I will do a few more videos about hypnosis and hypnosis for other things. But the next one I'll do will probably be about gut-directed hypnotherapy for people with digestive issues and IBS and things. So thanks for being here. Please like and share and comment, and I'll see you next time.